Hey guys, Jake and MJ, back again for more live reactions to Power Rangers Beast Morphers. And we throw them away.
Why do you always say we throw them away when we throw them away?
I don't know. I feel like calling attention to it. Alright, so, excellent to see everyone again, making sure everything is in order here, getting the chat going.
Chris and Kizagare and Ranger Vision and Share and Cody and Spencer.
Yeah.
And I think we had one person on Twitter mention that they won't be here.
Oh, right. Sean said that he wasn't going to be able to make it.
Hi, Sean. I know you won't be here, but
he would watch us
catch
after
us on the
he gets
video.
home.
And Sir Paladin, Mr. Alman, Athena's here.
There we go. Everybody coming in. Yeah, I know that this one has been a hotly anticipated episode by many of you. MJ does not know why yet, other than just I said this is a big episode coming up. I am very excited to finally see this episode. I've been looking forward to it for quite some time.
Are we excited for this? Jake is excited for this episode.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on.
But I know that he's excited and the chat is excited. So.
Yes. It's good times, good vibes. We're within a week
no spoilers,
of the actual.
Bears repeating. Don't explain to me why we were excited.
We're within a week of the anniversary of Power Rangers, so that is very exciting in the Power Rangers realm. And we are within a day. If you are watching the recorded version of this.
Okay, so they can't know your birthday, but they can know our wedding anniversary?
I mean, there are certain types of personal information can be used for identification purposes. But
it's another common security question, but if you don't use it for your security question, I'm cool with it, because I don't use it for my security questions either.
Yeah.
I try not to use dates for my security questions, because
but
you'd have to type them in. I can never remember if I put the zeros.
Yeah, but like if you go to a pharmacy or whatever, they don't ask when's your anniversary.
Fair enough.
But yes,
history, apparently that's how Jake
tomorrow is our wedding anniversary.
We will have been married for 5 years.
Yes. Five whole years since we got married, so we're looking forward to having a nice evening together.
And your job interview with Athena.
Oh, yeah, kudos. Hope that all goes well. So we are having...
DC Comics?
What about...
Have you been paying attention to the news with DC Comics?
I hadn't... Oh, isn't today's the fandom thing with DC Comics? That's the big thing with DC. I know that there was a whole big layoff session at DC. I knew that was a big thing. But I haven't been following the news from DC today. We've been busy.
I sneezed and needed a tissue and locked us out of the apartment.
Yeah, we were on our way out the door this morning, and then it was like, we had the door open, you sneezed, and you're like, oh, I gotta grab a tissue, and then you went to grab the tissue, and then we left.
I put the keys down next to the box of tissues, blew my nose, did not pick the keys back up. We went outside.
And you asked me for the keys. I'm like, why would I have the keys?
Because I don't.
So, we obviously, we got back into the apartment. We're not still locked out, but it was an awkward start to the morning.
It was a busy day.
Yeah, you had work all day, I had tutoring. I spent my afternoon filming, again, in the Phantom Armor, which is exhausting.
My mom had to come across town to drive me to work.
Yeah, but I think...
Thank you, Mommy! And thank you, Papa, for helping Jake get back in the apartment.
Thank you, in-law parents. But yeah,
knowledge is what brings us here together.
Yeah. I think I finally have all of my Phantom footage filmed for episode 90, which is good. So that's the whole thing.
Jacob.
Again, no spoilers, so...
Kisagari brings up a really good point. What if this was just a plan by the landlord?
Yep.
And we're still outside.
What?
Oh, there was a spoiler just below that. I'm glad I was focused on the landlord comment.
I'm glad too.
And I know I'm going to screw up your first name. That's why I keep calling you Kisagari.
Keeda, right? Right?
I don't know.
I always fake myself out.
Freshman orientation, college or high school?
I'm assuming college.
Did you not have orientation for your high school?
No, I did not. Or not that I can recall.
Oh, what ours, they totally
KK works
had
as well.
KK! Okay, KK!
But,
they totally,
also, timing-wise, college would make sense. College is usually a little bit earlier than high school. College usually starts at...
I just remember our high school, they totally had all the freshmen in and gave us our schedules ahead of time and maps so that we could try and find where our classes were.
Fair enough. I remember getting those, but I think I remember getting those on the first day. It's been a little while, like over 20 years since starting high school, so...
Noted, rotisserie. As long as you're over 12, it doesn't matter. If you're under 12, you don't exist and you're not
here. The Phantom Ranger helmet
because YouTube would pull things
was acquired back in 2017, I believe. 2016, 2017, thereabouts. I believe it was 2017. So it started appearing in every episode from 85 onwards. And that was purchased by Anarchy Cosplay.
From Anarchy Cosplay.
From Anarchy Cosplay. Sorry.
So it was handmade by Anarchy Cosplay.
Yeah, no, I tried. It did not go well. That was why I had a CG helmet for multiple years.
It's a good helmet.
Yeah.
Anarchy does good work.
Yeah.
It took a very long time to get it, but it's a good
Yeah,
work.
it took like a good 2 years for it to arrive.
Well, part of that was that you ordered a helmet that he hadn't made before, right?
I don't think that it wasn't one of the stock ones. It wasn't one of the usual ones.
Like, he's got molds for, like,
I forget if they had to do a
MMPR.
new sculpt for that or not. I don't think that they had to do a new sculpt for that, but I could be wrong. Okay. So we got the gang here. Everybody ready for
the gang's all here.
Everybody ready for this for the episode? We got to kick off with our three non-controversial
statements.
Yep. Equally non-controversial. Number 1, Black Lives Matter. Say it with me.
Forgotten that.
And number 2, say it with me. Fascism is bad. And number 3, superheroes are fun. Thank you everyone for joining us on our non-controversial phrases. Let's make those all continually
Things we
equally
should not be forgetting just because they're
non-controversial.
not quite in the news as much as they used to be.
Yeah. I'm appreciating the little acronyms there. Blim, fib, shaf. And for all ages. Superheroes are for all ages.
However, YouTube says that our show is for people who are over the age of 12.
Whether you are 5 years old or celebrating 5 years of marriage, you should be able to enjoy some good old-fashioned superheroes. So, let's kick off episode 37 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Grid Connection.
Grid Connection.
And
interesting name. Is this gonna like connect into Shattered Grid?
Take me to a video game tournament. I got a championship to defend.
He did mention that at the end of the last one.
Yes, he did.
Oh.
Continuity.
Hey, Keeper.
Hey, Keeper.
What's up, Keeper? Did you just arrive in that ship?
I've had a vision of many Power Rangers in a mighty battle.
And what happens to the Power Rangers?
They were beaten,
The unofficial sequel to Grid Defense.
destroyed.
Were we the Power Rangers you saw?
As you know, there are many Ranger teams across space and time.
Oh,
I cannot know for sure which Rangers were fighting. The vision was not clear. But I saw you, Devon. You were hit by a meteor.
A meteor?
A meteor. From outer space. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
That part of the vision was clear.
Keeper has visions now,
I don't know
apparently.
when or how these things will come to pass, but I have a strong connection to the
Keeper
Morphin
Troy?
Grid. You must be ready.
A battle against Rangers that may or may not.
It's just like my
pass?
dream.
And a meteor? With all due respect, Keeper, this vision from the Morphin Grid, it's a little far-fetched.
So,
Little
you
bit.
doubt the existence of the Morphin Grid?
No.
I get the grid. We
I
tap
just-
into it in the towers, which is how we get Morph-X. But these visions and seeing the future sounds sketchy.
Are we gonna get an explanation for
I've studied
Troy?
Ranger history. There's some pretty amazing stories about the grid.
Either way, we need to be prepared. Hey, I'm always prepared.
But I got a
There's
video
trouble.
game
But right
conference
now,
to
I have
win.
to get this competition. If you need me, Bruce can bring me back. It's less than an hour away.
Less than an hour.
but stay alert.
Still pretty far.
No. You know, if you said it's like
Devin,
15 minutes
should
away,
not
that would
doubt
be
the
different.
power of the morphing grid.
Don't worry.
Also,
I'll look out
how
for
is this
any
the first time that we've ever had Keeper get a vision?
Seriously, he had a whole series to get visions.
He had 2 whole
Took
seasons.
the wrong turn?
Sorry, Devin. I'm pretty sure this is the correct
Devin, don't be rude to Keeper.
Pretty sure?
There's no explanation for Troy. There's a simple explanation for that.
Oh, whoa! Meteor! Meteor!
Yeah, that's a meteor, alright.
What's
With
the
purple
deal with
fire.
that meteor?
Put it on the main monitor.
What's the deal with the purple meteor?
Where's the transmission from? Another dimension.
I kind of want Nate's
Another dimension? Who we got?
hoodie. It's like a
Hey,
hoodie
Tyler.
Tyler,
and a
what's
hoodie at
happening?
once.
We're under attack.
Keeper, your vision is coming true.
There are too many of them. They're after our energetics.
Oh! Tyler! Velociraptors!
Was that a dinosaur?
Yes, a velociraptor.
They're in the dimension that has dinosaurs.
We have a transportal device.
Well,
Well,
that is
that's where
their
they
dimension.
live.
Yeah, that's their dimension.
Power ready. Now.
What about Devin?
They'll have to follow you later. Let's go, Rangers.
It's morphin' time! Activate beast power!
I still want his helmet.
Alright.
Nice.
It's a helmet.
Good luck.
It's a meteor, doesn't quite sound right. I mean, it's not far.
Oh!
Oh no. Come on!
What? Wait.
Fresh meat!
It's... Yeah, it's Snide and the Super Goldar. Which... Why are they in this dimension?
I mean, okay, but
Also...
they can dimension hop. They dimension hop back and forth between
Yeah.
that dimension and their
It's just surprising.
all the time.
Oops, Nate.
So,
What? No!
well,
Give that back.
the black energy?
Yeah, that was from Chase.
Actually gonna get black energy, not
Yeah.
dark energy.
Yeah. Dakota? I don't know how I never really noticed before that this new Goldar has
So
a
when
tail.
Snide stole the black energy, my brain went to the dark energy because it was like,
He's got the blue energy. No!
Goldar Maximus and the blue energy.
Goldar Maximus. That's his name.
Stop him!
you have no idea where the cyber crystal dimension is. This is true.
Yeah.
Otherwise, with this kind of easy portal jumping dimension technology, they could go there.
Yeah. They've really normalized the dimension hopping at this point.
Yeah.
Come in, GB Commander. Do you read me?
That's exactly what I was saying, Sheree. You guys can travel dimensions all
Power
the time.
Rangers, bow, wow.
It's more weird to
Go,
me
go,
that Power
Power
Rangers got there that fast
Bow,
with Goldar.
bow, go, boom. It's morphin' time. For justice we fight, with Beast Morphin' might. Together we run. Got a little caught in my throat there.
Okay?
Yep. Go, go, Power Rangers. Go, go, Power Rangers. Power Rangers Beast Morphers.
Is that
Can I have a
good?
little something to
Oh,
drink?
whimsical. Yeah, you can have a little bit of my Gatorade.
Okay.
My throat just got a little pitch in it there as I was in the middle of the
I've
song.
been trying to
I'm
call
not
you.
sure they have another building to crush viruses with.
You aren't gonna believe what happened.
I
You
still
got
don't
hit by a
get how you-
meteor.
The Dino Charge Rangers were attacked. The others went through a portal to help them.
I still don't get how you defeat Vengeance by
Are
dropping
they okay?
things on him.
Play the message.
Well, first you use an antivirus that reverses how he operates to trap him in his body.
And he's calling himself Goldar Maximus. They're just too powerful. Our morphers, weapons, transporters, everything's been destroyed.
Well, this is
They
bad.
stole 4 energetics.
This is bad.
Robbie, we gotta go.
We can't open up another portal. We'll try to hold on, but
This is bad.
They're helpless.
Goldar Maximus.
Devin,
Hey, Keeper.
I should have listened to you.
I got hit by a meteor, just like you said.
But I left anyway.
That was so weird. Why did you get hit by a meteor?
Somehow.
Even if you could get there, you need help. The forces against them are too powerful.
Like you said, there's lots of rangers out there, and they're all connected through the morphing grid. Wait. What if we use the grid to send a call for help?
Oh, that's how you confine him to a Ranger Red Series Operator Morpher.
But
That's true, they did kind of imply that he was in the
without it,
Morpher
I
at the end.
can't access the grid.
Every Morph-X tower taps into the Morphic grid. If I could go there.
Impossible. The energy flow is too intense.
Sorry it took so long, but I had to find a lead case to shield a meteor.
Meteor?
What?
What meteor?
That's why we were late. The meteor knocked us right off the road.
What's the deal with this meteor?
Okay.
Why does it need to be encased in lead?
What?
Emits some sort of weird magnetic field.
Okay, close that.
See what I mean? It's like it's disrupting energy. I've never seen anything like it.
That's it.
Okay.
The morphing grid sent the meteor for a reason. It might be able to shield me from the energy in the tower. Just long
Okay.
enough for me to send an SOS.
Interesting idea. Let's try it.
This is a bit convoluted. I'll roll with it, but it's definitely a bit odd and convoluted.
Y'all could drive a little more carefully.
This is where the tower taps into the morphing grid.
So this is the grid connection.
To succeed, you must trust the morphing grid.
How the morphing grid works just kind of changes from year to year. Okay.
Also, if all y'all been running your, like, cars and bikes off the morphing grid, doesn't that make a Power Rangers less powerful?
I have no idea.
Just the power to connect all
Your
Power
CGI
Rangers.
mouth is very off-putting.
So I hope you can hear me. There are Rangers that need our help.
You can hear the sound of my voice. Go to the domed city of Florence.
Okay. Ooh! Hello!
Is it a Tyrannosaurus coin?
Okay. Sure.
That was the Tyrannosaurus coin, right?
Yes. How? What? Hello? Transportal? Hello?
This is what you knew. This is what they knew. This is what everyone knew.
You're Jason, the mighty Morphin Red Ranger. I'm Devin.
I know who you are, but why did you call for help?
Because
Okay.
we're
My
in
team
trouble.
traveled to help some Rangers in another dimension. They battled an army of monsters led by Goldar Maximus. I think they're in bad shape.
Goldar Maximus. He must be related to the Goldar that I once fought. I thought Zordon destroyed him years ago.
Whoever it is,
Reference to the Z-Wave. Thank you.
as long as we work together.
Let's show them something they've never seen before.
A
The
powering
strength
force.
of grid battle force combined with some legendary dino power.
Nice.
Sounds good.
I may have.
Timey-wimey. You knew this was coming. That's why you brought that.
Yes.
Good shape.
That's why you're playing with that and not with those.
Do you even know what you're doing? Of course. This is exactly what Keeper said to do.
I told him he could open his anniversary gift early if
Do
he
we
wanted.
create a dinosaur sword?
I could maybe
First,
still do
you
that.
must place the powerful crystals and dinosaur DNA into a geode.
Keeper was under mind control, so obviously he was telling the truth. We've got 6 kinds of dinosaur DNA and just enough energems.
Oh,
We could have
right.
gotten more if the Rangers hadn't escaped.
Need the energems in order to create a Zord.
This geode is perfect. We just need to find a way to crack it open.
Zord. Yep, that'll do the trick.
What's taking so long? I need this new sword.
Okay, so that's the reason they had to go to the Dino Dimension.
It's almost ready,
They needed
Master.
the energems in order to generate a Zord. They're using the same method that Shelby used to make the Spinosaur.
Guys, what's happening?
They're gonna make a Zord.
What? Like I did once?
You use normal crystals. Using our energems will make it much more powerful.
And why would they use DNA from 6 dinosaurs?
Good question.
She's deliberately not giving us the actors cast, right?
Although the voice match is really good. Hey!
Did he bring through extra morphers?
Yep.
Same here.
Backups.
Aren't you?
I'm Jason.
We don't have time for introductions. Evox is making an evil Zord.
We have to stop them.
You need these.
Thanks.
It's a nice way to write around the issue of not having all of them.
Fully charged with Morph-X.
It's Shelby's voice.
Dino Charger's charged up with Morph-X.
Deb, you take your team around the back. I'll leave the rest of us on a frontal attack.
So wait, they could still morph with the Dino Charger that's full of Morph-X instead of with a...
With the Energem. I mean, basically speaking, generally speaking, they use Dino Chargers to power their Dino Charge Morphers, if I recall. So they use the Energem to charge the Morphers, so I guess. Or to charge the Chargers.
A lot of different kinds of baddies here.
Yep. We got the Vivix, we got the Buddies, and we've got the Triptoids.
Triptoids, who's the eye guys, right?
Oh, and the Tronics are there as well.
So you're Goldar Maximus, huh? I hope you're a lot tougher than the last one we defeated.
Oh, I am! And I brought an army, too!
Army? That's not an army.
Huh? A power coin?
I do not understand what the deal is with the Tyrannosaurus coin in this episode, but I'm just rolling with it.
What is that?
An army.
Okay, there we go. Oh, hello.
Mighty Morphin and Dino Thunder have now arrived.
Yep.
Now this is an army.
It won't be when we're done, Jason.
It's Morphin time!
There we go.
Unleash the power! Tyrannosaurus!
Remember when Morphin things were so simple? Now they're like,
Nice.
with it! You know?
Yep.
Defenders together.
Could that happen to me in, like, the kitchen?
Destroy them!
People have been waiting for this
Now this
for
is
so
annoying.
long. Hey, there we
I'm
go.
okay with the Instamorph because he did this business.
Yeah.
And that was classic.
Ah, nice. All the Terror Rangers together.
Might have been happier with Jason's return if we didn't know so much about his actor now, Sir Paladin.
Fair.
He has been behaving badly, correct?
A little bit. I do wonder which Mighty Morphin Rangers those are.
Oh, you mean like, is that Kimberly or Kat? Is that,
Yeah. I wonder if they're canonically supposed to be the original 5.
I mean, I would expect it to be the last 5. Because,
Well, honestly, the original 5 would have a better chance at having their powers restored.
oh really? Well, there's only ever been one blue, so that has to be good.
Yeah, I wonder how many of the voices are archived versus mimics.
Rotisserie asks, what did he do? Call Blake Foster?
This is history, Master. No one has
It's
ever used energems to create a sword. And I'm the
it's a longer story.
Some of the work,
Please
but
don't.
I'm finally a mechanical beast worthy.
Constructs from the Morphin Grid, says Shure.
Yeah.
So they might not actually be the people.
Step away from the Cheeto.
Dino Thunder are bad voice actors.
It was quick enough that it wasn't that noticeable.
They're winning. Not for long. Time for the sword's final ingredient. My own warrior spirit.
We have established that warrior spirit is necessary for this. So I guess Evox does have a warrior spirit.
The process is almost complete. Finish these fools while I handle
His like,
Oh, really?
Geo just went into the earth.
Oh, Cloud Blaze. Yeah.
It's like Team
You
Rocket's
didn't even
blasting off
you
the
didn't even get a
door!
chance to get a hit off, dude.
I'll never surrender to Rangers!
Alright, team. Destroy him.
Oh, Dino Power Ultra Blaster. Oh, that is nice. It's all three of their combined blasters combined. And that's amazing.
By your blasters combined.
Oh, that's just a wonderful thing.
Well done, guys. Good job.
Oh, you naive Rangers. The real
Whoa, Buffett!
begun. Prepare to meet your doom.
All right, here comes big old Zord.
Does this mean these are the energens spent in this process? Or are they not going to be able to?
No, that's not how they function in the past. Whew! That's a big one.
That is like a Cerberus.
Yeah.
I thought Serpentera was bad, but that sword has 6 heads.
That's why they use 6 types of dinosaur DNA.
Because they wanted 6 heads. Because reasons.
But 5 of those heads are like the same dinosaur.
Devin, we gotta do
It's very chimeric there.
You're in no shape to fight. But I think I might have an idea.
Can you imagine if this final fight was
I'm
with
gonna need you to
Serpentera?
transport a Zord.
Whoever wrote that line deserves a raise, says the chat.
Summon Zords!
Woo! Nice. Nice. And nice.
Megazords ready!
All 3 Dino Megazords.
Yes!
Dino Charge Megazord, Thundersaurus Megazord, and Original
And
Flip
3 of the
Megazord.
heads are wearing different hats.
This is just fun.
Okay, but Evox's Zord kind of looks like some sort of a mutant from, it looks like a mutant dinosaur that just came out of,
Good job. Good job, Ivan. Yeah, a little bit. Oh, Beast Machines.
Deploy! Beast X King
Beast
Zord!
Machines is underrated. Hey, nice.
In position. Here goes nothing.
you guys see CGI? Oh yeah, especially that
I was about to say
that purple dinosaur thing that I'm saying looks like it just came out of Beast Machines.
Nice combo.
Zord, Beast X King
Transformers.
Oh, it's less of a combo than I thought. You get to have its head.
I've been waiting for this moment.
That is a good size crazy sword thing. Woo!
You made a Zord and you lost a Zord all in one episode.
Yep.
Very
quickly.
Though, frankly, that Zord looked like super organic.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of the other dinos.
Oh, the mix was a little bit different, so I guess I'll do it. Whew. That was quick.
It's my call. No problem. That Evox. He was tough.
That did
I
not
don't
last
think you've
long.
seen
No, it did not.
We can handle Evox. We're taking out that army today. We appreciate all of your help.
We sure do,
It was a bunch of
including
moves.
helping us get our energens back.
And my staff. The Ranger legacy only gets stronger with time.
The Grid Battle Force team is proof of that. Rangers forever. Defending together.
There we go. We've had that phrase a few times.
And apparently,
Well, Reefside awaits. Bye, everybody.
That was very much Brendan Mejia being Connor.
he just has a remote for these things.
Well, it's the transport device. You've established those.
Rangers like you.
Yes, but
Stand up for what is right.
still at Reefside. I think Reefside is also the name of the town, not just the high school.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they've graduated by now.
Yeah.
Thanks for teaching me to trust the Morphin Grid. I'll never doubt its power again.
Okay.
A wise person never stops learning.
Today, I learned a lot.
Hug for Keeper.
Home we go. Bye, guys.
Alright, so that's all resolved now.
Bye.
Everyone knows about the Conor McKnight soccer camps. They're all over the country.
Yeah.
This adventure
Yes, CGI mouth is
There you go.
something special.
That being said, some video games do have slightly better graphics.
That's why I said the Zord looked like it came from.
Next on Pop, it's Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Alright, so there we go. After all these years...
1991 CG.
So that episode, we have been waiting for 7 years.
7 years.
It's been 7 years since the Go Busters vs. Kyryuger movie came out, The Great Dino War. And after all this time, we finally got to see it.
So, what did you think of this episode? Says Scott Sandler.
It was fun. It was fun. It definitely went by quick.
I agree with Jeremy, who said it seemed a little bit rushed.
It definitely felt rushed.
This could have been a two-parter.
And, I mean, it kind of was.
Pacing-wise, I mean.
Yeah.
What we saw in this episode could have been 2 episodes.
Well, I feel like, the attempt to make all the parts of the team up be self-contained kind of made the individual episodes themselves feel a little rushed. Because between both this and Finders Keepers, which is just... I'm just going to continue to be amazed if that's just the name of a team-up episode.
Yes, it was. I mean, technically the crossover was a two-parter, as Jake keeps pointing out.
Yeah.
Finders Keepers was part of the same crossover movie.
And you could even arguably call Making Bad, like, a third part of it, because that was the bridging episode.
But the part we had in this episode
was rushed.
could have been 2 parts on its own.
And I think part of that is the fact that both this episode and Finders Keepers did feel the need to still also kind of make it an individual ranger learns a lesson focus episode. And there was just too much going on to make that also
Didn't really
a good
need
fit.
the Devin learns a lesson part of the plot, is what you're saying? I can get behind
I mean,
that.
I do recognize it is important for children to learn at an early age that you should trust visions from the morphing grid. Obviously,
Apparently they left a lot of
keep
battle
it
footage
educational.
out.
Yeah, it was very fast, and
I mean, he made his 1991 CG Zord and then lost his 1991 CG Zord in like 5 minutes.
yeah. And Goldar Maximus, everything went by very quickly.
And it felt like they forgot everything Devin learned in early season 1. That is a really good point, Rotisserie.
Yeah, he stopped prioritizing video games. Well, he recognized during Game On that there are some things more important than video games. Now, I do...
Like rangering.
I do kind of like that this episode was led into in so many ways from the previous episodes.
The continuity nods were great.
Yeah. Most notably, beyond it, the continuity nods.
The continuity, period. From the serialization of, the last several episodes.
Even down to Devin being focused on his video game tournament in this episode.
Which they mentioned last episode.
He said at the end of last episode, I gotta train for it. And it felt very much like it kind of came out of nowhere. And then it was like, oh, okay, it was to segue into this episode. So I like that they're making all these efforts to set things up and carry them through. It's still occasionally a bit clunky. But I like the effort. I really like how much effort they put into making this feel like it was a natural part of the season, making this feel like it's just part of their world now, building up to it. The unfortunate side effect, that sort of the double-edged sword of that, is it did make it feel a little bit less momentous as a result because they had normalized things leading up to it. Which, I mean, I like that, they decided to try something different with that. It's just, we gained one thing, we lost something else. It's always going to be a balance. So I don't know if I necessarily call it a critique per se. But it is something to consider. I do wish that we had, sort of spent a little bit more time on, bringing these Rangers together, and connecting to that. The whole subplot with the meteor, it was very strange.
The Morphin Grid sent a meteor, which disrupts the Morphin field, and also apparently contains a Morphin coin.
Yeah, I don't know why that had Jason's coin inside.
Meteora ex machina.
The fact that Meteor just for some reason had Jason's coin inside it was bizarre. Like, I don't know why this was inside a meteor. How did it get there? Why was it there?
Because it was charged with a remnant of energy from the Z-wave.
Oh, that's your theory? I do like that they acknowledged that Zordon was the one Zordon's sacrifice was what destroyed Goldar. That Jason knows the Zordon sacrifice, as he should, and that was what destroyed Goldar originally.
Yes.
I mean, there are plenty of questions like, how did Rhyhorn get Goldar's sword? How did he get Snide's sword, especially? Here's one of the things I was talking to MJ about the other day. There are some serious issues with Snide's sword, because I just want to remind all of you about what happened to Snide at the end of Dino Supercharge. He got blown up, and then the planet that he was on got sucked into a black hole and was never seen again. So they went back in time to when there was a previous version of him on a spaceship that they threw into the sun. And then Keeper went back in time to save Sentai 6, ostensibly preventing Snide from ever existing. So Snide got removed from existence 3 times over. How was his sword left behind, and where did Rhyhorn get it?
There's a simple explanation for that, says the chat.
And honestly, I only have the one explanation. Oh, that's right, it was Heckle and Xenowing, but ostensibly using Keeper's time travel portals.
Snide's a cockroach.
You're right, it was Heckle and Xenowing, not Keeper per se, but Keeper did send them back in time with the time portal. But it's just like, so, the only conclusion I have is that my theory of what happened to the original Dino Charge Earth is true, where it ended up in the Kamen Rider build universe, and Rhyhorn has been there. Which means that Rhyhorn has gone to the Kamen Rider universe. Maybe it was Zeltrax the whole time.
No, right above that.
It would have been so cool if Ghost he wasn't twist villains and why that's why he never explained anything. That would be funny. I would love that. That is definitely not the first time I have seen / floated that idea.
Smitty!
Yeah, there were definitely, although I appreciated all the effort that went into making this make sense, there was definitely plenty of things that didn't make sense. So I felt...
Now the chat is just screaming Rusty.
Rusty! Rusty was Snide all along! Rusty touched the Doc
Ryjack Dimension Hop time traveled, made copies of all the weapons, and dipped.
Rhyhorn, like, he is such a plot convenience who raises so many questions and was destroyed fairly easily.
Betty Z-Box. What?
Just putting forth theories that make no sense.
Rusty remains the funniest live reaction running gag.
Captain Chaku was cool. He could. One thing that I found really bizarre, actually. This is honestly, if there was something I had to choose that was really strange
Just one thing?
about this, about this arc here. That we had this big, the big crossover with the different Dino teams.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the first plot element that kind of kicked off this whole arc? What was the first plot element that was introduced that kind of kicked off this whole arc?
The Vault.
Where was the Vault this episode? How did the Vault not tie into anything here? That's what I want to know.
I was expecting the Vault at some point,
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest, yes.
Exactly, like, I was expecting the Grid Connection to be linked to the items that were at Grid Battle Force, and that would give us a reason for having those items there. It would have been a way to connect to those Rangers. If they just had specific items, it would have made sense for why those specific Rangers were there. And instead it's less like, hey, we brought an army. 2 more teams. Nothing establishing outside of just, we have a Dino theme this episode. Why these 2 teams are the ones that suddenly emerged. Dino Thunder showed up because there were Triptoids there, basically.
How does Grid Battle Force have a Delta Enforcer in the Vault 5 years before it was invented? Time travel.
Time travel. There's so much time travel and dimension hopping, etc., that it's just wackiness that it exists.
KK. I know, you're just being silly.
Yeah. There's definitely a bunch of stuff in the Vault that doesn't make sense for it to be in the Vault. But also it's just like, I really would have liked if the Vault had a bit more of a plot relevance beyond being what brought in Rhyhorn. And even at that level, it was also like, we introduced the Vault and Rhyhorn showed up. There were definitely a large number of things that just felt like, okay, I appreciate that you're setting up these pieces, but at the same time, they also each feel contrived in and of themselves. Which I know, it's a tricky thing to try and set up this much. What are you up to? Are you grabbing? Are you getting my gift? Is that what you're getting?
Yes.
You want me to open up my anniversary gift? Okay. You okay?
Yeah. It's just...
Yeah, it was in an awkward spot.
Getting down and up.
Okay.
It's not easy.
So, here we go. This came in the mail the other day.
This is
Let's have a quick little
anniversary present for our 5-year anniversary tomorrow. I told him he might want to open it, you know.
Yep. So we'll have a quick little unboxing here, okay? We'll have a quick little unboxing as we're trying to see if I can cut this open with this.
With the cat.
With the cat brush claw, because I don't have my...
Pocket knife was on the...
yeah, but I think I put it away.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna go grab my pocket knife real quick. I'll be right back. You want to share some thoughts? You have thoughts?
I have thoughts.
What are your thoughts?
I have thoughts about... How about you guys... This is Jake's anniversary present, right? But I'm having him open it on the Power Rangers stream. So does anyone want to guess what's in the box? While Jake is trying to find his knife.
Yeah, I couldn't find the
Oh,
one
we
that I
couldn't
was
find
looking
your
for.
pocket knife, but now we're going with your Crocodile Dundee. That's not a knife. This is a knife.
That's not a knife. Literally, that's not a knife. This is a knife. As I've established before, I was a knife salesman for a year. That was a thing.
Yes, and this is the, what do they call it?
This is just a pearl-handled hunting knife.
Yes, but there was a slightly different name for these than Cutco, wasn't there?
No, this one was Cutco.
Oh,
K-bar is my own.
K-bar
I
is
do
the
also
other.
have a K-bar. I have a lot of knives from my time selling knives. They're great knives. They'll last forever. Literally, like, if they break, they just send you a new
your
one.
attempt at an Aussie accent is 7 out of 10.
Hey, at least it's better than Ryjack, right? It's better than Ryjack?
So, people have guessed Omega Ranger, Beast Morphers Megazord, Jason David Frank, a space jacket, a meteor that turns into a power coin, a Megazord, LC helmet,
the Lightning Collection helmet.
with a really inappropriate shipping box.
You guys aren't thinking along the right lines. It's our anniversary. I knew what because I had requested
Jake
it.
knew what was in the box.
I knew exactly what I wanted this year for my anniversary. It's our 5th anniversary, but these two, 25th. It's the silver anniversary for Rita and Zed. Had to get it. Had to get it. This was. I told my wife here.
He told me what he wanted for our anniversary.
Like a year ago, saying, "Hey, this is coming out. This is what I want." Okay, maybe it wasn't a year ago. It was like 6 months ago when they first announced this. I knew I wanted it.
Look at the back.
Look at the back. Oh yeah, it's a nice little.
With the wedding rings.
Oh, that's adorable. The horror of your presence is absolutely required at the marriage of Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. So
you sold Stilito enough nights to fill a butcher shop and get Kay a violin.
that is true. That.
She's got the love potion and the evil green crystal.
Yep.
And what's that?
That's one of the growth grenades.
Ah, yes, and that's their wedding cake.
There's their wedding cake with a little spider on it. Zed's got some lightning effects for his staff. There's the bouquet. So what do you say? You guys, should I continue to pop it open?
Leave them in the daycare for 84 years and see if they make a Thrax. That's a Pokemon reference.
Oh yeah.
You leave your Pokemon at the daycare to see if they lay an egg together.
For 84 years?
No, the 84 years, I don't know what that's about.
It's been 84 years. Is that a Titanic reference? I think that's a
5th anniversary, 25th anniversary,
65
75 million year anniversary.
65 million year anniversary. So yeah, I can pop this open. Rita and Zed or Sledge and Cassandra. Well, I will admit, with Rita and Zed, there are some
Rita and Zed had a much nicer wedding, as Poisandra pointed out.
That's true, but at the same time, there were some dicey consent issues with Zed and Rita.
It's true.
I mean, it did evolve past that, but even so, there was a rocky start.
Rotisserie. Jake doesn't leave any of his toys in the box.
And then we've got.
Jake plays with everything.
And then I have to give it to Sledge and Cassandra for having a longer courtship. But Rita and Zed, they're just a classic. Ooh, this is lovely.
Rita's skirt's made of fabric.
Yes, it is.
Rotisserie was saying leave the box for 10,000 years just for...
Oh, just for it to appreciate and value.
No, authenticity. It's been 10,000 years.
Oh, yes.
But that really only applies to Rita.
Yes.
I think she's got like some sort of tape or something holding her arm in.
No, I think that's just a bangle.
Oh, no,
her arm is through there.
Plastic.
That's it.
Okay.
There's a little hole in the plastic, and her arm was through it. There we go. So yeah, as I'm popping these out, let's talk about this episode some more. You're really liking that lightning effect, huh?
It's so gooey.
Rita, how did your arms even get in there?
I don't know.
Like, maybe you will be trapped in this for 10,000 years, because I'm not sure how to get you out of there.
Rita and Zed are still alive, but Cassandra and Sledge are dead 3 times over. But that doesn't mean that they can't come back again, since they seem to keep coming back.
It's true. They did get their mileage out of that Sledge outfit. I tell you what, they designed it, they built it, they wanted to keep on using it.
Oh, interesting. Her skirt is fabric. Her bustle is rubber.
Yeah. It's all part of one piece that's around her, the rubbery piece here. Oh, nice. The sculpt on the face is actually a little nicer than it looks in the pictures. Like that's a nicely detailed face. It looks better when you can kind of see it close up in 3 dimensions. This is fantastic. This is great detail. That's the green crystal that was used to summon the Dark Rangers. Create the power of Dark Rangers from Tommy's remaining powers in Green No More. If I recall correctly.
They're not dead, they're destroyed.
Yes.
That's true, because nobody's ever dead in Power Rangers.
But yeah, I have had several Zed figures, but this is my first ever actual
Be careful,
Rita
she isn't
Repulsa
alive.
figure.
Remember what happened to Bulka's skull all those years ago.
Yeah.
Will Kimberly's head fit on Rita's body? According to someone on Twitter, yes. We've seen pictures.
Yeah, apparently her head can be removed. This is great. Finally having a Rita figure after all these years. 20...
Wait, there was no Rita figure back in the day?
I mean,
I'll put that back.
There was one advertised, but it never really existed. There was one released in 2010 that's just kind of awful. But
That's
yeah.
what we needed, a human squatting babu.
I'm glad that I didn't get the, get Zed on his initial release, because once I saw this, I'm like, oh, that's so much better. So, here we go. We got, holding it up to the big camera, to the camera up there as well. Rita Repulsa, looking great. Popping her right here, on the little box there.
We had to take out Zed's staff to get a Rita's staff, because they were crisscrossed across each other in the box here.
And we'll take out Zeddykins as well.
Oh, Zeddykins.
I figure this is a good way to
wind down. Remember that samurai figure?
I figure this is a good way to celebrate a week that is, our anniversary is tomorrow. Power Rangers anniversary is on Friday. We just watched a major commemorative episode of Power Rangers. Why not commemorate with Rita and Zed? Zed.
Why not?
Zed's a good beefy figure. He's got some a lot more heft to him.
I hope his tubes age well.
Yeah, because
they're flexy
pretty flexy.
And it's good for them to be flexy. Sometimes flexy materials stiffen over the years.
Yeah.
So I hope his tubes age well.
Yeah,
he's got some nice detail in his muscles.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of good sculpting detail work. Some of the ways that his shoulders move are a little weird, but he's definitely got a better solidity to him than Rita, who's definitely got thinner.
That always happens to female action
Yeah, it's
figures.
true. But yeah, Rita's definitely got thinner limbs.
They also always wind up top heavy.
Also, I don't think that I'm using the right hand right now for Zed for his staff. I think this might be a better one for his. These are more
one's a
claw
full-on
hands.
fist, so if there is a better holding hand, it's going to be this one.
I think you can hold that for now. We don't need to do the hand swapping at the moment. I just wanted to at least get them out of there.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep. So
the other one that's in here is a full-on fist, like actually closed, and you wouldn't be able to get anything in there.
Here we go. Here's the happy couple.
Look at them.
I got them. I can probably balance them on something a little taller here.
Tilt down if you need to. Oh, there you go. Okay. Ooh, remember.
That
is true, KK. Zed is Jewish, just like Jake.
There we go. Zed and Rita celebrating their 25th anniversary on our 5th anniversary weekend, going into Power Rangers' 27th anniversary. Such a momentous occasion.
Wonderful.
So glad that you guys could join us for all this.
Yes.
You can put them on. They do come with the wedding cake as well, and Rita also comes with swappable hands. So there's just a lot of great little bits of detail.
Oh yeah, she's got a bouquet. She's got her love potion that she used
to get Zed to put a ring on it.
Green crystal.
Yep. So.
And some sort of like purple energy for his
staff. Yep. So lots of accessories. I won't try popping them in and out right now. Don't want to try.
Oh, and her
get them
bouquet.
lost everywhere. All right, so let's see.
Is that technically rope?
What his veins? It's sort of a little very light
gel cord.
Yeah, it's a very lightweight
sort of a
plastic.
gel cord.
But these are great. It's great to actually finally have them, because There were very few things in the Lightning Collection where I'm just like, yes, need, want, must have, and this combo set was pretty much it. Because having a proper Zed and Rita 2-pack is just fantastic.
It is.
And they look great.
They look fantastic.
I had that old, I don't have it here, it's in storage, but I had the old 9-inch Lord Zed with the, like, whopping 4 points of articulation. Like, maybe his head could turn, I don't think
The camera angle makes them look huge.
Yeah, it's great. Well, that's
I mean, they're pretty big.
That's how Power Rangers works.
That's a hand there.
That's how Power Rangers works. It's all about camera angles to make
for scale,
the robots look giant.
They look like they're a foot tall.
They're still same size. But if we're way back here, so let's see. Let's dig into Grid Connection a little bit more.
Okay.
This was a pretty momentous episode. It was a 14 team up, which is not something that we have seen.
Nope.
It was nice to see a thematic team up.
Yes, Sir Paladin. Yes.
With all the Dino teams, working together. It would have been nice if there was a little bit more focus on that element. On the element of bringing the Dino teams together.
I mean, the other two Dino teams, they showed up, they fought for like a minute, then they were gone.
Yeah, it was very quick. They kept it really much more focused on...
Well, Jason and the Dino Charge folks.
It really, in many regards, these team-up episodes have felt less like traditional crossover episodes and more like we're just getting these extra guest stars, but the main team is still the main focus. Which I can respect that approach. It just didn't... I just... When we haven't seen these characters in so long, and you are flying many of them in, you kind of would like to see them receive a little bit more of the attention in the episode. That's the way that I tend to feel about team-up episodes. Like, you don't want the main team to completely disappear into the background.
No, of course.
But the focus, I feel, should be on the classic characters.
It's less of a crossover than it is a cameo, Spencer says.
To certain extents.
Yeah, it was a bit more of a cameo.
I felt that in Dimensions in Danger, for instance, the action was really driven by the returning Rangers. The returning Rangers recruited the Ninja Steel Rangers. The returning Rangers were very central to the plot because they were being abducted, and that's why they were there. And that I felt was a good use of those returning Rangers. I felt like not all of them were utilized as well as they could be. There was a little too much focus specifically on Tommy, but it did feel a little bit more like it was an episode about those legendary Rangers. Whereas this really felt more like it was a Devon episode where all of the
cameos.
So all of the additional Rangers were about him learning a lesson about the Morphin Grid, which is an interesting and different approach. It's just not necessarily what I personally look for most with a team up episode. And I think that a big part of that comes down to tastes. But
it's not quite long enough to stay in.
Yeah, but
has failed me.
But apart from tastes, I really would have liked if the Dino Thunder team was incorporated in some way outside of...
Yeah, people in the chat were saying they wish that we'd had at least one Dino Thunder actor.
Yeah, if it was something beyond just, we put out a call to all these Ranger teams, and this was the one that happened to show up.
But why?
And I mean, there's the visual aesthetic of the Dino teams all teaming up, which is great.
But in universe, why?
But in universe, okay. But yeah, why did it end up being the Dino teams? Why were the Dino team villains the villains that we were seeing, as far as the Triptoids with the Vivics and the Putties? Now we know, yes, Ryjack resurrected them using his reanimizer, but the fact that there was that one-to-one lineup between the villains and the heroes without it having an in-universe explanation felt very strange when there was so much effort otherwise to explain a lot of other things.
Oh, exactly.
So...
It's so okay, it's average.
I wouldn't place this... I don't think I'd place this above Dimensions in Danger.
No, I wouldn't.
I think it's... You know, I think I'd probably put it... This team-up saga, I would say, is probably on par, or I would say it's right on par with Once a Ranger, with Once a Ranger being brought down by its team, but being brought up by its veterans, because here we did get to see Jason come back, which is, you know, that's a big thing. He has not been here since Forever Red. It has been over 15 years. And we got to see 4 of the Dino Charge Rangers back.
Yes.
And there were other Rangers back, but whenever you bring Rangers back, but their actors aren't back, I mean, it's great to see them in action, but it doesn't have the same impact. And there's only so much you can do on that front, you know.
If they're not available,
they're not available. But there is always a little bit of a letdown there. Whereas Once a Ranger did bring back 5 fan-favorite Rangers and did give them a whole lot of focus and got them to function as their own team, which was very interesting and creative. And the problem more so with Once a Ranger was the team of that season was not a strong team, and they gave up, and there was that whole plot, and that was a down point. Whereas here, the focus on the main team was actually pretty solid, and it was just that the returning team didn't...
I mean, they didn't not only get no focus, they were reduced to basically set dressing.
To an extent, and that's unfortunate. Because here's one of the... I think one of the one line that probably sums up the issues in this episode the most was the line delivered by Tyler. There's no time for introductions. But there should be. Because these are characters who you haven't seen. With the Dino Charge Rangers, yeah, we'd seen them in Finders Keepers, but...
What about Dino Thunder?
Here's a question. And I could be... I would need to go back and double check. Did they ever say the names out loud, outside of Jason, of anyone who got brought back?
No.
Like, did they ever say... Like,
Nor did they even say Dino Thunder.
Like, they might have said, you know, like, hi, Tyler. But did, like, Ivan ever... Like, okay, I'm just gonna put this out here. Knowing Ivan, just the character of Ivan, can you imagine Ivan not introducing himself in spectacular fashion?
I mean, that would be like Xander not introducing himself.
Right.
Hi, I'm Xander Bly.
Like, the fact that Ivan never really had an introduction moment, and neither did any of the... Like, these are charismatic characters. We love these characters, and it's great to see them again. But we didn't really get a chance to highlight their character traits. And that's unfortunate. I'm not going to say that I didn't have fun with this episode. I did have fun with this episode.
It was definitely fun.
And it was definitely a new approach to a team-up that I absolutely appreciate the efforts towards trying new things
the chat wants
and
to
more
see
complex.
Jason Russo Brown.
That'd be pretty funny.
Someone else pointed out that his acting seemed like it had no direction. I don't think it had no direction. I think the guy hasn't been an actor in like a decade.
Yeah, it's been a while.
He's a bit rusty.
Rusty!
That was inadvertent. I'm
sorry. Sorry, Dino Rangers. My acting is rusty!
He is Ivan of Xandar.
Yeah, exactly.
It's time for Plan Xander.
Oh my. Time for Plan Xandar. Get those two together.
They really should.
But yeah, there was just no acknowledgement of the Dino Thunder Rangers, which is a shame because Dino Thunder's a great season, and this is our first time really seeing those Rangers outside of the legendary battle.
Watch your arm. The cat's trying to come
Yeah, I see there's Ollie over here. Hey, Ollie. You joining us? Hello. So I do feel like this team up continued the long tradition.
Jason's acting is Rusty's fault, as usual.
This team up continued the long tradition of being a lot of fun and being very easy to nitpick for fans everywhere. There have been very few team ups that aren't just torn apart to death because of the continuity issues that inevitably result from these crossovers. While I still think that Forever Red is kind of the gold standard of multi-team team-ups, it was also an episode that fans dissected to death and back to the point where I think after a while it was banned from discussion on Ranger Board just because people needed it to stop.
Wow.
I could be misremembering that, but it was just dissected so heavily.
Ooh, you got another mat.
Yeah, you need some more brushings.
You do.
Don't worry, I got your brush here. No, wait, no, that's not.
That's not a brush.
I don't want to use that one.
That's a brush.
I want to use that one.
I wish Ethan.
There are more than one ways to brush a cat.
It's my turn apparently. Hey.
I'll
be more gentle.
But yeah, I know that some of the Dino Thunder Rangers, I believe, even expressed that they wish they had been invited, and I get that you can only bring back so many characters, you can only bring back so many actors, you only have so much stuff in the budget. I get it. It's understandable. It's one of those unfortunate limitations of a capitalist system. Yeah, I was getting at that. It is, I think, a little bit of a shame that
they're releasing a Dino Team pack with a generic 6-inch MMPR, Dino Thunder Blue, and Dino Charge Pink.
Yeah, I saw that 3-pack, which I think is great. That you have Jason, Ethan, and Shelby all in that pack, even though Shelby and Ethan didn't actually return for the team up itself.
It's true.
Which is unfortunate. But no one on the Dino Thunder team did, so.
Oliver is much farther from Zed than it looks like.
But if they could have found a way to tie this more into the Dino theme, I think it would have made more sense. If there could have been some sort of link to Dino Thunder, I think that would have been good. Obviously, in the original material, there was a link to Dino Thunder. This was we had resurrected versions of both Goldar and Zeltrax, who were using their respective, fighters.
Apparently, the Shelby figure is missing the yellow outline around the visor.
Strange. It really is interesting the different plot points that the show chooses to latch onto. Like, they really latched onto that, how the ingredients for creating a Zord plot element. Which, I mean, it's cool, it's nice, and I did like at the time that we got an explanation for where the Zords came from. I remember praising it in the Rangers Rock episode when Shelby created the Spinozord. I felt like there was a little too much focus on that, but there was a little too much focus on how it was created and not having it there for the fight.
Well, the Power Rangers are indeed awesome.
Yes. Indeed. All seasons. Some seasons more awesome than others. There are definitely some seasons that we don't enjoy as much.
Did you enjoy the Zord cockpit split?
Yeah, it was fun seeing them all on screen together. One of the sad things about, actually, one of the really funny things about this team up, is that, as I kept saying, there was a lot of focus on the current team, not so much on the past teams. But in the original source material, this was released during the Kyoryuger season.
In the original movie, they were all in a white void.
Huh, interesting. But you remember how before it was, Go Busters came out before Kyoryuger, as opposed to here where it's flipped.
Yes.
So it was Kyoryuger bringing back Go Busters, but then also bringing back the other two Dino seasons. So Go Busters were almost a cameo in their returning team-up. Here, everybody else is the cameo because now it's their team-up. And it's just kind of an amusing flip.
I assume you're referring to the real-life death of Thoit. That was quite tragic.
Yeah. Yeah, it was unfortunate. But yeah, there was a
Your
lot...
caps lock is on, by the way.
There was a lot of interesting reversals here between how it was ostensibly in the source material and how it was here. The source material was a team-up movie. Here, it was very integrated into the story of the show.
Beast Morphers is the first season since RPM with no Pink Ranger, and the first season ever with no pink, green, white, or black.
Good point. Yeah, there's always those little patterns that emerge. Yeah.
I know Rice Man, but it did sound a lot better, as people pointed out, than the Dino Charge folks, so if they did come back, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I'm also wondering how much was recycled audio and how much was coverage by voice actors and how much were actual actors. There were a few little incidents in there where I really want to go back and look over them more closely.
Yes, KK.
Like,
Jake was mentioning that, about that being Zell tracks.
Yeah, but Connor, like Connor at the end there, was obviously Brendan Mejia just voicing Connor. Like, I'm like, Tyler, when did you become a Dino Thunder Ranger? But earlier, when they were summoning their weapons, it did sound like them. At least to me. So I'm wondering if that was recycled audio. There were a lot of production elements that I'm really curious about
this episode?
I want to say he said something at the beginning, but he was not
I feel like
focused.
he must have at some point, but I don't remember what he did.
It was. I want to say he said something when Keeper was describing his vision. There was a lot of focus on Keeper's vision, and I felt
funny
like
because Keeper's never had visions before. In this whole season, that was his.
I felt like that was when it came to this episode, it really felt like they wanted to have an excuse.
Yeah, nor could we tell if it was Zach or Adam.
Yeah, it felt like they wanted to have an excuse for Devin to be separated from the action, so that he could bring in Jason and the reinforcements. But I really felt like it hurt the pacing of the episode as a result. We kind of had this stretched out first act to keep Devin away from the action. And so it's like, how do we keep Devin away from the action? Okay, we'll do this whole
nonsense with the meteor.
The vision, and then the meteor, and then he needs to go use the meteor to go into the Morph-X tower. But just the whole thing with the vision and the meteor and that whole extended part, I felt like we really could have just dived right into the action. I felt like we would have had a much better pace if we'd opened up with just the distress call for, like, if we had just snippeted out the whole subplot of Keeper's vision and just go straight from distress signal, stuff is going down. We knew stuff was going to go down because we had this other stuff that happened in the previous episodes. And just jumped into it there.
We'll never know how MMPR, Zeo, Turbo, and Space were there in full at the same time.
Yeah. I'm assuming that the Turbo team had to be the Robo Rangers. That's the only way it makes sense.
Rotisserie guesses time travel.
Power Rangers also just kind of, at some point, just gave up on the whole concept of Rangers retiring.
Yeah.
After a while, they're just
Once
like, yeah, they just
ranger.
have their powers back. It's just, it's like, didn't you lose your powers?
Well, the other thing
we
is
got them back,
these,
it's okay, it's not a big deal.
As far as MMPR, Zeo, Turbo, and Space go, there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. But also just Forever Red, as fun as it was,
the Dino Thunder Rangers really did feel like an afterthought.
Set a precedent for Rangers just randomly having their powers back. That was the first time that we had it really happen. Well, correction. True Blue to the Rescue was arguably the first time it happened because Storm Blaster restored Justin's Turbo Morpher, but that just was presented as an ability of Storm Blaster in that episode, so I could roll with that. But Forever Red was the first time where it was really like,
Wait,
no, your powers,
retired.
you were retired and your powers were destroyed. Where do you get your powers back from? Like, again, TJ, it's like, okay, we can assume you got yours from Lightning Cruiser because we know that Justin got his from Storm Blaster. Okay, well, technically, I guess the Zeo powers were never actually destroyed. We don't really know what happened to them, which is a whole separate thing. But Jason, you gave your powers to Rocky, Jason, and he lost that coin, and then he lost his replacement coin. Where'd you get that, Jason? And there's been various explanations.
And the MMPR
since then,
Rangers, besides
obviously.
Jason, also felt like an afterthought. That is true.
Yeah. Like, there was no acknowledgement that was his team outside of, oh, they have the same suits, okay. Like, he didn't, there was no connection there for him.
During the Zordon era, blue was the only color to never participate in the power transfers.
Yeah.
Which is true, because, like, Billy did not become a Zero Ranger, and,
yeah.
The Turbo Blue Ranger stayed behind on Earth. So
Yeah, I do believe in the theory that the Sword of Power copied the power during the power transfer. I think that's a fair interpretation, but
Sentinel
it's also
Knight
something that's
brought
not
everyone
necessarily
back into
reinforced. Sentinel Knight is apparently just able to do that, even if the Ranger never actually lost their powers and is from the future somehow. That was... Just Bridges' inclusion in that was just like, how did you get here? What is happening? Over time, it has become increasingly easy for old Rangers to just show up. And we have less and less excuses for not just having them around.
Yep.
So that's the whole thing. But I know it is getting late, although there is obviously plenty to tear apart. As always.
As always.
Much of it was just the fun of finally seeing the things that we've been waiting for. Seeing things that had been built up, paid off. Throwbacks to the mechanics of how all this works. Which is something that they have been making more of an effort towards, which I appreciate again. So... I like that they're trying to make things make more sense, which was a big thing that
we like it when
that
things make sense. We're big
that Dimensions in Danger
of
did.
things making sense.
Where it's like we are now establishing that these are traits of the Power Rangers multiverse. I just that there was a little bit more focus on things making a bit more narrative sense. And I could probably talk for another half an hour, but I probably should. It's getting late.
Well, you could always continue chatting with people on the Discord.
This is true.
It's Power Rangers Discord.
This is absolutely true.
We have been streaming for an hour and 20 minutes now.
That is true. It's getting pretty late. But yeah, they definitely focused on the grid connection part of grid connection.
Oh yeah. Title? Aptly picked title.
And I just wish that there was a little bit more focus on the Dino unity itself. Like,
why was the other teams that showed up Dino? Let's talk about the fact that they're all Dinos. Let's acknowledge even the fact that they're all Dinos. They never acknowledged that.
Like,
don't start running out of storage for recording this reaction, says the chat.
Like, that's true. That is true.
On the big camera.
Alright, so, you know what? Actually, just because this popped in my head. As I was saying before, if you dive in with the distress call, and then bring in Keeper there, and have Keeper have some sort of mission that he had to go on with Devin to find the other Rangers that are related to Dino powers, which are closely linked to Keeper. Keeper's big on the dino powers thing. He entrusted his powers to dinosaurs. Have that be okay, they're fighting Goldar Maximus. Devin is on a road trip to find all of the past dino teams.
Road trip with Keeper in convertible with the top down.
Like, that I feel would have been much better than I had a vision. There was a meteor. And that meteor...
You got hit by a meteor.
...has the red Tyrannosaurus power coin for reasons. That I have no explanation for what that was. I really want more of an explanation for what that was. But who knows? Maybe we have more stuff coming up next time. I'm curious, because we don't know what happens in Beast Morphers next.
No, we don't.
I don't even know the next episode's name off the top of my head. I try not to look ahead. So, I'm hoping that maybe, just maybe, Evox had some sort of plan in mind when he was the mayor. We feel like we've gone way past all that, and it's probably not happening. But I'm hoping that it exists.
KK, somebody else mentioned the same thing earlier. I think you guys might be onto something with the Z-Wave and the meteor, but it's still really convoluted.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things. I don't know how that creates a power coin. Specifically Jason's power coin. Like, that specific power coin. But it was visually fun. It had cool acknowledgments of mechanics that they worked on building up, and they really wanted to acknowledge things that, hey, we thought this through, we want to acknowledge things that we've talked about before. And just kind of have fun with it and not think about it too hard, even while doing all this work. So, and I think that's a good note to leave off on.
Yes.
There was a lot of hard work that went into it. Don't try and think about it too hard. Just have a fun time. And, happy anniversary to Power Rangers. Happy anniversary to Rita and Zed. Happy
3 statements
to us. And let's close it out on our 3 statements. Good call, good call. Our closing phrases, again, equally non-controversial. Say it with me, people. Love is love. Trans rights are human rights. And robots are cool. And occasionally made of 6 different dinosaurs. It's funny, too, because, like, they had the Dino Charge, the Megazord there with the Pterazord attachment, and that was also 6 dinosaurs. Yeah, it was fun. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week after Power Rangers, after the Power Rangers anniversary. I may, hoping, fingers crossed, be releasing a little bonus video on Friday the 28th. I'm planning on it.
Wear a mask and wash your hands.
Remember to wear a mask and wash your hands, especially all those of you going back to school like I'm planning to do.
Thank you, Athena. I am going to go to sleep, yes.
I am getting back to, I got to plan out my classes because I got the in-person, the virtual, I got a little bit of everything.
Starting in September.
Here in New York, that's basically the Wednesday after Labor Day,
You go
back to the grind. So I'm going to try and do what I can for this channel between now and then. But until next time, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.
Oh, Zeddykins!
Dino Rangers here, no one knows their names, anniversaries forevermore.